All right. So on to part 4. And in this one, we are going to add the player health. We're going to have the player be able to shoot the enemy because we've already got the enemy uh, logic where he comes to the player and then explodes. So let's get on with that. So this time we're going to start in the player. So we're going to click on him, come over here, and then click Edit First Person. If you want to know where he is in the file structure, he's in the first person BP, blueprints, and there he is, first person character with the game mode and a HUD and the projectile. We'll go over what game modes are and HUDs are. HUDs relatively soon, game modes in another series. Okay, so let's open him up. Double click on him to open him up, and then in the event graph we have all this stuff which we are not going to touch today, or maybe do something with the spawn projectile. No, in fact, we're not going to do anything with the spawn projectile. We're going to do something when the projectile hits something, but we'll do that later. But for now, we're just going to ignore all this. If you want to have a look in the viewport, this is how it's set up. This gun, I believe, is for the VR. If you want to make that invisible, I wouldn't delete it because it'll cause problems in the code. But if you want to, come over to the right-hand side to its details, and you can make it hidden in game, which it already is, but we can also make it invisible here if you want to. It doesn't make any difference, but there we go. And what we want to do here is we want to come over to the event graph. Well, you can do this anywhere, but we're going to add a variable to the player. We're going to add a health variable. So here we have where we can add variables. We're just going to hit this plus here, and then it's going to add a variable, and we're going to call it health. And if you click on this little colored button, it'll give you all the variable types, and we want a float, so a green float. Okay, and it's health, and then we're gonna hit compile, then come over to its details, and only after you hit compile do you get access to the variable. Okay, so I'm going to set that variable to be 1. Okay, so in floats, generally we use between 0 and 1 because there's infinite amount of decimals between there. So it just makes things easier, and that's how Unreal likes it. We can do some maths on the other end when we want to get that variable to make it so that it displays like 100 for health and stuff like that. But I'll show you how to do that. So we've created a health variable. And now what we want to do is we want to have this health variable affected when the enemy does its thing that we set up last video. So we've got these tabs here. I can just move between them. So now I'm in the enemy BP. So I'm just going to move this stuff over here a little bit. So I make a little bit of space because after we've done this move and we are successful, what we're going to do is we're going to drag out. So where we have the caster first person character, remember this gives us access to all of the variables in here. That's why this node is great. So the variable we need access to is the one we've just created, which is health. So all you need to do is drag out from here where it says as first person character and type get health. Okay, there it is. So now we can do stuff with this. And what we want to do with it is we want to minus, so a float minus a float. So we want to take some health away. And then in order to set that now, we just come back here again, and drag out from it and type set health. All right, and then just make sure that plugs into there. And then that plugs into there. And then the health we're set into is this. Now, we don't want to -1 from it because that'll kill us. So let's just do 0.1. Okay, so we can take 10 hits. No, it's not good. So 0.2. Okay, so that should now take our health away. Now, we don't have any way of displaying that just yet. So what we need to do is drag off here and type print string. Or print string is going to, it would just say hello if we left it like that. But if we plug this pink pin into this green pin, it will now tell me what this variable is. Now, print strings are not used for gameplay or anything like that. They're just used for debugging. So this is just going to display a little bit of text that is our health when on the top right of the screen. Let's give that a test now. So hit compile, and then I'm going to hit play. But let's add a few more of these. So go to content, go to blueprints, and drag in a few more of these enemies so that we're not just testing it the once. Then hit play. So they come to me, and you can see in the top left-hand corner that my health went down by increments of 0.2. So that is working, which is brilliant. And eventually what we're going to do, probably in the next video, we might get time to do it in the end of this one, we'll actually just create a HUD, like something that displays on the screen, and we'll have a bar that depletes and a numerical value that represents it. So that's all working for now. So the next thing we want to do is get it so that we can shoot these guys and they explode before they get to me. They're a little fast as well, so we'll turn the speed down. I'm going to delete the 3 that I just brought in so that I'm just working on this one. Okay, so let's open him up by clicking. So I just clicked on him there and then came over to my world outliner and clicked on edit enemy BP. And that gets me to this window. So now we've got, this is starting to look a little complicated, but that's fine. I don't think we'll be doing anything else with that for a while. So let us now go to where we are colliding with the enemy. So normally, or in a lot of games, when you shoot, you don't actually shoot a real projectile. You just cast an invisible line out, and if that hits something, then you can do whatever you want. But in this example, we are actually going to use a projectile. So if you come to content, and in the search bar, type Pro for projectile, and then it's this first one, first person projectile. Double click on that, and you'll see we have some logic built into this. So let's just go through this real quickly. So we have this event hit node, which basically says if it hits something, and then we have this branch, which is a check. And the check it's doing is to say, is this thing simulating physics? And if that thing is true, and it is simulating physics, then add an impulse at a location, which is like a little bit of force, and then destroy the actor. Okay? And this bit here is just letting us know the impulse's strength and its location. We don't want anything to do with that, but that's what's happening with these balls at the minute. If we shoot that, you'll see it is simulating physics, so it adds a little bit of force to it, and that's just how that's working. But what we need to do is we need to say, first person projectile. We need to say, we're going to come off this. We're going to come off this hit result here, I think, and in fact, let's drag out from there and type sequence. Now, a sequence node is great because it gives us the opportunity to do more than one thing off this event hit. Now, normally you can only have, in fact, all the time, you can only have one of each of these red nodes. So if it says event hit, I can't copy and paste that. It won't let me. We can only have one, but we can run off a sequence so it does multiple things. So now what we want to do is we want to cast again. So I want to cast to, this time we're casting to the enemy. Okay, because it's the enemy. So cast to enemy BP. And as the object here, we're going to drag that into, we're going to try other. It might be other component, but for now we're just going to try other. I think that's right. Okay. So this object always has to have something in it. You can get into a lot of problems if you don't have anything in there. In fact, the game won't run. So this is all we're doing. We're checking to see if we're hitting the enemy, and if we are hitting the enemy, okay. If oh no, we wanted to do a branch, didn't we? Okay, so we want to keep that, but drag off that then one again and type branch. Okay, now branch is a check. Do I actually need that? I don't think I do. Okay, sorry, I'm getting myself a little confused. Right, so let's just plug that into there, right? And we'll give this a test. So once we cast to the enemy BP, what we want to do is we want to spawn the emitter like we did last time. So spawn emitter at location, and we'll just fill this in the same way. So it wants to be the P explosion. The location wants to be the enemy's location. So as enemy, drag out and type get actor get actor location, and plug that into the location. And then also what we want to do is we want to destroy the enemy. So drag out from here, type destroy actor, and for the target it wants to be enemy BP. So drag it into the blue pin into there. Right now, I don't think this is going to work for some reason or other, but it does. So we shoot them now. They're overly fast, so we're going to fix that. But that does work. So if I just quickly, oh no, that didn't work. Feel like it did, but he must have just collided with me. I'm sure that worked. Oh, that's annoying. Oh no, there is only one in the level. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, that's working. Okay, good. That is working. So let's go back into our projectile and just have a little look and recap what we're doing here. So we are using this event hit node. Okay, and then we've got a sequence running because we could just delete all this because we're not going to be using it, but we might as well not do that because it's actually interesting to look at this later on if you want to do something similar to this with your own work. So it's actually good. It teaches you a little something. So we are casting to the enemy to detect if we are hitting the enemy. If we are, we spawn the emitter at the actor's location, and then we destroy the actor. We're also going to destroy the ball as well, because then we can't just shoot through everything. So just just click on destroy actor, C, V to copy, and it's just leave that as itself, the target itself, and then the ball will be destroyed as well. So let's drag over that, hit C, and this is destroy enemy. Okay, good. Let's have a look at our time. See if we can do the enemy spawner in this video, because that is easy. Time is here. Alright, we should be able to get that done in 3 minutes. So we don't want to place our enemies in the level like this. We want them to infinitely spawn. So I'm just going to delete that. Also, I'm going to hit P on my keyboard so I don't have to look at that green all the time. It does my head in. So I'm going to delete this where I wrote Pro for projectile, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to think what I need to do, which is to create in my blueprints folder. So let's go to our blueprints folder, right click, a blueprint class. This time it's an actor, and we're going to call this enemy underscore spawner underscore BP. I always put BP at the end of all my blueprints so that I know that's like I do for MAT for material and etc. So double click to open this up. Now all we need to add in here to visually represent which way this is going to be spawning is an arrow. So come over here to where it says add component and just type arrow and hit enter, and that's all we need. That's all we need to do for the setup of the visuals, so we can actually see which way these are going to start spawning. Then let's go to the event graph by clicking on this tab, and this is where we're going to do the logic for the actual spawning. So it's super easy. Event begin play, have a delay so it doesn't happen straight away. We'll make that random in a minute, so we'll just put random float in range. We'll actually come and do the range in a second. And then we want to spawn. Right, so don't spawn actor from class. We want to spawn AI from class, or else you can have problems with it not actually registering that it should be moving when it starts. So the pawn class is the one we just created, which is called enemy VP. The behavior tree, just leave that. We haven't created a behavior tree. The location we want it to spawn is this arrow. So you drag in the arrow and you type in get world location. There we go. Plug that into there. And that's it. So that's all we need to do, really. All we need to do is spawn the AI. Once the AI is spawned, that will then start this chain of events, because it's event begin play, and then it will do that. And then all we need to do is to make the spawner infinite, is to then put a delay here. In fact, no, we don't have to put a delay there. We can just plug that directly back into that delay. And now let's set this to be 0. Now this is going to be in seconds. So let's say between 2 and, this is probably going to be too much, but 2 and 6 seconds, it's going to spawn one of these AIs. Right, so let's hit compile. Let's grab our enemy spawner and bring it into our level. Let's rotate it so it's facing us, and then hit play. So it shouldn't do anything for a while because there's a delay. And it comes in, and then this is the problem I was talking about that I was trying to avoid. So for some reason, I think the reason is that we just need to spawn this a little higher. Let me just... Yeah, so this is the problem we have sometimes. But I thought using the spawn AI from class would negate this problem. But let me just see if I can quickly fix it. So that's not spawning in the ground or anything like that. They're not spawning on the ground, but that shouldn't matter. Okay. So for whatever reason, they aren't actually adopting their behavior. But what we'll do is we'll figure that out in the next video. But at least now we have got these spawners, and they should... I mean, let's just leave it on for a little bit and see if they spawn multiple ones. So I'll shoot that guy. They do. They keep spawning. I wonder why they're spawning in the air like that. But we'll figure that out in the next video, guys. So, okay, I'll sign it off here, and we'll fix that first thing next video.